local fighter who's really starting to make a name for himself. We hear so much these days about professional boxers and all of their big money fights that sometimes I think we forget about amateur boxing. Well, tonight we introduce you to a Fort Collins fighter who's proving to be tough to beat. At age 17, Shane Swartz is one of the country's top amateur fighters. Pretty heady stuff for a guy who's only in his junior year at Quitter High School. But in reality, Swartz is no newcomer to the sport. No, this guy's been around the fight game for some time.
I first started when I was 4, and my first fight was when I was like a month after I turned 5.
And it's that experience that has Swartz toward the top of the heap at the 165-pound division. How good is he? Well, he recently represented the U.S. on their touring national team. He ended up fighting a 28-year-old Canadian earlier this month down in Florida in international competition. And while he lost a split decision, don't look for him to point at the age difference as an excuse.
No, I mean, because it would bother me if I never beat an older person, but I mean, my dad's coached me that that's all I fought ever since I was grown up.
Go ahead.
Even though he's never formally boxed before, the father, Roger Swartz, coaches the son. As you can imagine, that's got the potential for some fireworks, but this relationship is based on one sound principle.
It's a different thing, you know, when you coach your own son in any activity, you know, I don't care if it's tennis or what it is. If you're on the tennis court, you're coach there. But when you get home, then you're a father. Bam, 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 double jab coming out, let's go.
What Roger sees in Shane is a boxer just coming into his own. But when you're 17, there are other sports to enjoy. Shane also plays soccer, basketball, and football, where he was an all-conference safety for the Impalas last fall. But right now, his long-range sights are set on the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta and fighting for his country.
Like when you say the Pledge of Allegiance at your school or something, it means a little bit, but when you're actually representing the United States against another country, it means a lot.
On the more immediate horizon is the U.S. Boxing Championships, where Swartz will discover just where he does fit in among this country's elite fighters. After that, perhaps even a national team tour of Europe. And if you think that sounds pretty exciting to a 17-year-old, well, it is. But for one reason in particular.
Plus, it's during the summer, so I won't have to miss school, so I'd be at, you know, a lot more at ease instead of having to worry about homework.
Work him. Finish with that jab, triple jab, moving around. There you go.
Swartz would eventually like to go pro, but says he wouldn't stay there for long. He'd like to make $1 million or $2 million to help take care of his parents and his sisters, and then perhaps onto a career in sports medicine. All right, on to college basketball.